I, for a long time, have said to myself, I want to make money. I want to make sure that I'm able to treat my friends and I'm able to live comfortably. But I've not really known where to turn because there's not much resource out there that really empowers women to understand money and get excited about money and investing. And the world speaks the language of men. Women aren't incapable. It's not that men are inherently better at maths and are more intelligent and capable than us. It's that men have been included in the conversation earlier, and money is seen as this taboo topic. I think actually some women can go their whole lives without really being able to freely talk about money. This is how much I earn. How much do you earn? What are you doing with your money at the moment? Do you put it anywhere? Are you investing anything? I actually don't think I've ever really been in a conversation with a group of women where we've had that discussion. Men are talking about money behind closed doors. Fathers are taking their sons to go and play football and they're telling their sons about what investments they're making and how much they're earning that year. Meanwhile, their daughters are at home looking after their dolls. Their little girls looking after little girls. And whilst I have no problem with that, girls can play with their dolls if they want to play with their dolls, but I just think it's really sad that women are very purposefully left out of the conversation. And I'm not saying fathers do that because they want to disempower their women. I think they're just doing what everyone else is doing and doing what the patriarchy ultimately wants us to do, to leave women out so they don't get to have a share of the cake and be in a place of power and influence. Money is power in this capitalist world, so it's no wonder us women are not encouraged to get financially clued up. Hello beautiful people, I'm Alessia. I'm so glad that you're sitting with me or lying down or whatever you're doing when you're watching this video. So, you might be freaked out by money, numbers, investing. All of this might just feel like an alien territory to you. You might be confused about what bank account your money is in. You might not know what interest is or how it works. You might have this idea in your head that you're bad at numbers, at maths, that you're just not going to understand investing or how much you should really be saving. You might just tell yourself, I'm just not good at that. You might have all these questions in your head that you just think, do you know what, these are just too dumb to ask. I just need to keep this to myself. I'm here to tell you that there is no such thing as a dumb question. In fact, it's dumb to not ask the question, and whoever is shaming people for asking questions is also dumb. I think the notion that there are dumb questions is dumb. Because how on earth are we going to learn anything if we don't feel like we can ask? The people that ask questions become the people that know things. It's so hard or actually impossible to learn and grow if you can't admit that you don't know things. I am never going to judge anyone who genuinely wants to learn something. And can I just say, in this space on this YouTube channel, there is no such thing as a dumb question. You can ask me anything in the comment sections and I will not shame you. In fact, I will applaud you. If you're the kind of person that confidently asks questions that are embarrassing to ask, you have done a lot of work to shed the ego. So many people pretend they know things that they are clueless about. And you know what? That will mean that they live in this state of constant fear, that someone's going to ask them and they're not going to know what to say. That's going to make them defensive. And that's going to also eat away at their self-esteem. Stop pretending you know things and allow yourself to be the beginner. If you don't know where your money is right now, you've got some money, you've got it in a bank account, but you have no idea what type of bank account, what interest it's earning, if it's earning any, admit it. Say it out loud to your friend, someone you trust. As soon as you can vocalize that you don't know, then you can do something about it. But if you lie to yourself, you kind of accept that you're not going to know. You can be a beginner at anything at any age. You can learn how to invest at age 40, 50, 60. There is never a bad time to start something that is important to you. You might have left school, university, you might have children. I don't know what stage of life you're navigating right now, but there is always room for growth, to learn. No matter what age we are, we always have to open the door to more knowledge. Otherwise, we become stagnant and stuck. A part of being human is learning, adapting, and changing, and that allows us to thrive and feel good in ourselves and feel connected to people and to feel excited and alive. We kind of feel like we're not alive when we're not challenging ourselves, when we're just sitting in our comfort zones, when we're telling ourselves that there's no more growth to do, we're done. You can learn something new at any point in your life. And I think that's so exciting. I'm not scared to age because of this notion. I know that when I'm 50, I'll probably be learning something new that young me has no idea about. And that might shift my life. That might mean that I change what I'm doing work-wise. That might mean that I attract new people into my life. And I think that's amazing. I think the idea that life kind of gets a bit more boring and less exciting as we get older has kind of been accepted because of hierarchy. We're kind of taught to think, okay, when we're adults, we know things, so we tell people what to do then. Of course, that's going to make us bored if we just tell ourselves that we're always the teacher when we're adults. Part of being young is learning and growing and making mistakes, and that's where the fun is, in that journey. We can continue that as adults, and I think we should. I don't think we should ever tell ourselves that we are above someone and that we know more than someone else because of age, because of life experiences. Everyone's got something to share and to teach us. If somebody thinks they have all the answers, likelihood is they're pretty clueless. There is a quote actually that sums this up much better than I am. I'm going to have to find it and put it on the screen. When you allow yourself to be the beginner, you then enable yourself to one day become the master. People who are experts at something, people who are good at something, allow themselves to show up flawed and to make mistakes. When I started my YouTube channel, felt very uncomfortable in front of the camera. I stumbled on my words a lot. I didn't say exactly what I wanted to say. I had all these ideas but could never really articulate them well. But I allowed myself time to kind of master the art of communication. And I wouldn't say I've got there at all. I actually get nervous before filming quite a lot, but I've got better over time. I've allowed myself to show up flawed. I've allowed myself to ask questions. I've allowed myself to constantly get better and do my research and look to other examples. I really encourage you to brush aside your ego when it comes to the things that scare you. And if that is money, numbers, finance, if you really want to have financial independence, to be financially free, if you really want to be a businesswoman that is in control of the money aspect of the business, I really encourage you to drop this idea that you need to look good and that you need to come across as the leader and the person who knows everything straight away. To be honest, you're never going to know everything, but let go of this idea that you need to come across as somebody who knows so much, because otherwise you'll never learn anything. Now I think about it, the people who I'm really inspired by in the business world, in the work that I do, are the people who show up authentically, are the people who show that they don't know everything. Just telling yourself you're dumb, you don't get maths, you won't get investing, this is all too complicated for your girly brain, is silly. Don't tell yourself that, because that will probably prevent you from even trying. My question to you is, have you tried to understand investing or what interest is? Have you watched YouTube videos? Have you talked to your friends about money? Have you entered that world and allowed yourself to freely talk about this? Or have you actually just concluded straight off the bat that you're just not going to be able to do that? Please don't tell yourself that you're just bad at numbers. I've done this for so many years of my life. It's become this thing that I actually say without even really thinking. Oh, I'm just bad at numbers, I'm bad at maths. It's only very recently that I've stopped telling myself that. And now when I really think about it, it's not that I'm bad at maths or numbers. It's that I fear it. It scares me because at school I never felt like I was good at it. I really struggled to connect with the teacher and understand her way of explaining things. A big part of me also just kind of switched off because I was so fearful of coming across as dumb, as silly. When I was then empowered by my parents, because they brought in a teacher who came to me at home, I really started to just show that I didn't know. I would say to my tutor, look, I don't get it, I don't know this. And I think he was quite shocked about how little I knew for the age I was at. And yes, shame came up a little bit for me then, but it felt so good to just be honest. And I actually very quickly learned a lot with him. And I was getting D's in my practice papers before him. His name was Jeremy. I loved him, he was brilliant. And by the end of my time with him, when I was coming up to GCSEs, I was getting B's and A's in my practice papers. And that was because I allowed myself to show up as somebody who didn't really understand, who had a lot of questions. I allowed myself to be the beginner, and I felt the shame. It's not as if I got rid of it, but I just let it exist. And I still ask the questions. This is a common thing amongst us women. We tell ourselves that we're bad at numbers and that we just won't get it. I think we tell ourselves this because we learn from society that that's the place that we should be in, that we shouldn't try. And we kind of just regurgitate what we hear other women say. We kind of regurgitate what we learn from the films that we watch. Now, women aren't incapable. It's not that men are inherently better at maths and are more intelligent and capable than us. It's that men have been included in the conversation earlier. In fact, men are just included in the conversation. I think actually some women can go their whole lives without really being able to freely talk about money. This is how much I earn. How much do you earn? What are you doing with your money at the moment? Do you put it anywhere? Are you investing anything? I actually don't think I've ever really been in a conversation with a group of women where we've had that discussion. And I think that's because women aren't encouraged to do that. And money is seen as this taboo topic. You shouldn't talk about how much you earn. You should keep quiet about all of this. Whilst we're being told this, men are talking about money behind closed doors. You know, fathers are taking their sons to go and play football or golf, and they're telling their sons about what investments they're making and how much they're earning that year. Meanwhile, their daughters are at home looking after their dolls. They're little girls looking after little girls. And whilst I have no problem with that, you know, girls can play with their dolls if they want to play with their dolls, but I just think it's really sad that women are very purposefully left out of the conversation. And I'm not saying fathers do that because they want to disempower their women. I think they're just doing what everyone else is doing and doing what the patriarchy ultimately wants us to do, to leave women out so they don't get to have a share of the cake and be in a place of power and influence. Money is power in this capitalist world, so it's no wonder us women are not encouraged to get financially clued up. As women, we're not socialized to know or care about money. But I don't know about you, I really want to have my own money, to make my own money, because I recognize that that will give me so much freedom and ability to move wherever I want, to be in whatever relationships I want to be in. I want that for myself, and I think any woman that does want that should be empowered to go for it. I, for a long time, have said to myself, I want to make money, I want to make sure that I'm able to treat my friends and I'm able to live comfortably, but I've not really known where to turn, because there's not much resource out there that really empowers women to understand money and get excited about money and investing. And the world speaks the language of men, and that means that us women get left out of the loop. You know, we have finance bros, but I don't think I've heard a term for women that are in finance. You just say women in finance. Why am I really struggling to say that word? Women are very purposefully left out, and there's just this way of speaking that just does not connect with women. I want to make money so I can feel comfortable, so I can feel like I don't need to be with anyone to support me. I can just choose to be with the people who I love. I want to make money so I can support other people if they need that. Money to me just facilitates happiness and health. In this capitalist world, we do need to have money in order to be happy and healthy. And I want to support my friends and I want to support myself. I know there's a lot of kind of shaming of people who want money, but I think that's super disempowering, because we live in a world that's literally dictated by the amount of money you have. You can't live in a house and eat food if you don't have money. So of course we want money, and it's okay to say that. I know there's so much shame, but please know that you're safe to say that to me in this community, and all the women in this community will understand you if you want to share some of your values in the comment section. Why do you want money? What does money mean to you? Please share that down below. And everyone, chat with each other and be kind to each other. So women are taught to, do the girly things. Why don't you look after the kids, honey? And why don't you cook dinner, honey, whilst I sort out the finances? Women are taught to stay in their place and are not even encouraged to entertain the idea that maybe they could be in control of the finances, or at least know what goes on. We kind of just accept that in this society. Obviously things are changing, and I really want to encourage that through this channel. And there are lots of other women and people like me who are trying to change this very strict separation between what a man does and what a woman does. I want to accelerate that, and this conversation is really important for that. You can be a woman who knows her stuff. You can be a woman who puts her money in places in a very intelligent and thoughtful way. Poker is a game that I've always associated with men. There's so many films where men are sat in dark rooms with cigars and whiskey, with really serious faces, and they're playing poker. And I've never bothered trying to play poker, because I've just associated it with men, something that men do, something that women just won't get. It's so complicated. It's another thing that's kind of put out. It's such a complicated game, you won't get it. It's too difficult. Because my partner's actually really good at just saying, no, you'll get it. You're intelligent. You can learn this. He taught me poker, and it's so much easier than I thought it would be. I had this idea that it was this extremely difficult game. Yes, there's lots of rules, and that's probably where the difficulty comes from, but the more you play, the more you remember the rules. And there is so much more to it than just the rules. Poker is about kind of how you hold yourself and about reading people. You have to have quite a lot of kind of emotional intelligence to be good at poker. I know so many emotionally intelligent women, I actually think that poker should be a game that's associated with something that women do and that women are good at, because it plays into so many of the things that us women have strengths in. Our intuition, being empathetic and reading people and reading the energy in the room and reading the kind of not so obvious truths. Poker requires self-awareness and social awareness. One of my biggest strengths is I'm very attentive to people's body language, and it often gives me hints towards how people feel. And this is a really useful skill in poker. And I generally think women are very kind of in tune with the hidden truths, the not so logical truths. They're good at sensing energy. And this makes us such good poker players. It makes us good in life. It makes us skilled in business. I know that we've been told that to be a good poker player or a good business person, we have to be very logic and we have to be very hardworking, and it needs to be this really masculine thing. I know that we're taught that, but actually it doesn't need to be that way. And I'm learning that the more that I engage with business and I grow as somebody who works for themselves, I'm learning that actually my ability to lean into my feminine energy and be intuitive and read people is actually really powerful. And that can make me successful in a different way. And different is good. If you're unique, it means that you stand out. It means that you have something different to offer. And that can make us really good in business. That can help us make money. I think as women, we're so much more capable than we realize. I know that we're portrayed this idea of success, and it's very specific and it's very masculine. And we think we have to be like men to be successful. We have to be like men to understand the way of the world. But that's just not true. We have valuable insight to bring as women. Massively valuable insight. In fact, at the moment, we've got a lot of male insight and we're lacking female insight. So actually, we have a lot to say right now as women in this world. If you're a woman, you live in a patriarchal world, it's no wonder you doubt yourself. The world does doubt you, but that doesn't mean you have to doubt yourself anymore. I'm here telling you that this is all a setup, and you can choose to turn away from what you've been told you are. And you can go in a different direction. You can ignore those voices telling you you're not good enough and that you shouldn't ask the questions and that you're dumb and that you can't be successful. You can ignore that because that is all chatter. That is not truth. That is patriarchal rhetoric that is trying to disempower you and keep the power with men. You are not incapable. You are so capable. And you have so many valuable ideas and insights that the world needs to hear. Men aren't more intelligent than us. They just live in a world that it caters to them, that caters to how they operate. They live in a world that teaches in their language. So yes, they have the upper hand. However, you now know that this all exists, and that's the most empowering thing. Because if we don't know, we just think that we're the problem as women. We think, oh, I'm just dumb and I don't get it, and oh, why do I feel this way and I just don't fit in? And it's not you, it's the structure of our society. Women are left out and they're told that they're not good enough, that their ideas aren't good enough, that their brain isn't good enough to understand these male things. But I'm here to tell you that you are good enough. I'm here to include you. And there are women including other women in the conversation all around the world, online and offline. And I encourage you to really get involved in that. When we come together as women, we listen to each other and we understand that actually a lot of us are feeling the same way, we start to realise that it's not us, it's society. It's not that we're dumb and incapable, it's that the world around us is telling us that for a reason. You're not a dumb blonde, you're a woman who's asking a question, who wants to learn something, and that is powerful. I want to ask you quickly now, Do you believe that you're bad at maths? Like you're deeply just incapable? Or are you scared of it? Does it bring up that kind of feeling of fear in your body? If you spent a couple of hours a week learning about investment or whatever it is to do with numbers and maths that freaks you out, would you get better at it? You would, wouldn't you? So it's not that you're bad at maths, it's that you haven't spent a lot of time really immersing yourself and allowing yourself to learn. I understand that our fear of being the beginner, of asking the dumb questions, of being called the dumb blonde gets in the way. But I just want to really reinforce that it's not that you're incapable and that you just don't get maths. It's that you've not been empowered to really get involved and really understand from a really nice, calm, safe place. With time and allowing yourself to be the beginner, you can learn anything. Yes, some people might be naturally more attuned to understanding some things than others. But, with time you can understand anything. And the person that is naturally better at grasping something might not have the dedication that you have. That's certainly something that I found at school. Some people were naturally just a bit more academic, whereas I learned to be dedicated and to give my all and to not give up because it didn't come to me as quickly. We need to get talking as women. When we feel like a question is brewing up inside of us, we need to allow it to come out. Obviously, choose who you tell in a very intuitive and thoughtful way. Talk to people you trust, your parents, your friends, but allow yourself to start talking about money. It should not be a taboo topic because money is everything in the world that we live in. We live in a capitalist society. We cannot do anything without money. We cannot live without money. So the fact that it's taboo is super disempowering, especially for us women, because we're the ones that follow the rule that you don't talk about money, whereas men don't. They get to talk about it behind closed doors. They break that rule. In fact, I've got a statistic. An astounding 8 out of 10 women say that they have refrained from discussing their finances with those they are close to. I know it's quite scary to be like, oh, I want to make money. I want to be a businesswoman. I want to get in the know about investing. I know it's quite scary to admit that because that's going against the mold of what we should be doing as women in this society. I know that's scary to go against the grain, and I know it's scary to be the only one in your friendship group that is talking about this. But when you do that, you allow yourself to open many doors. You allow yourself to feel more in charge of your life. And you challenge society. It's a really brave, cool thing to do for other women too. To start these conversations, to empower yourself. To have money is to be empowered in this world. And I hate that. I really do. And I want to change that. And more I think, God, I just want to get involved in politics because I'm realizing that there's just so much that I want to change. And I'm even realizing now that even politics and being a politician and getting involved in government is something that is gate-kept by men. That's for another video. But I'm just realizing that there are so many things that I can do and that I have so much untapped potential. There's no such thing as this is for men and this is for women. Let's just drop gender because it's a construct. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Obviously, we're all navigating different starting points. We all come from different backgrounds. We're all navigating different bodies, different circumstances, and I don't want to ignore that. I'm a white privileged woman. It's important that I put that out there. I want you to break the mold if that excites you. If having your own money and being quite savvy with money is an exciting prospect to you, allow yourself to get talking, to get researching. Tell yourself, this is possible actually. Yes, I'm a bit scared. I'm going to allow that fear to exist, but this is possible. I can be somebody who knows. Stop telling yourself, I am bad at maths. Stop that label. Stop doing that, because that's just you rejecting even trying. Okay, it makes me a bit uncomfortable, the idea of researching investing, but I'm not bad at investing. I just haven't put the time in yet, but I can. If we give time to things, we learn more about them. You get more comfortable with those things. The more we empower ourselves with knowledge and we allow ourselves to do the things that scare us, the less scary they become. The more you allow yourself to talk about money and research money and actually how women are disempowered within this patriarchal society, the more you'll realize that you are not lacking. It's just the world is telling you that you're lacking. The more you'll realize, actually, all I need to do is give my time. And then I'll just start to know. All I need to do is allow myself to be the beginner and ask the dumb questions. And slowly, my mind will be filled with answers. And I'll be somebody who has a clue. Get the ball rolling and allow yourself to open up to this topic. I can make money. I can be successful. Just allow yourself to have that thought right now. If you leave this video thinking, actually, this feels possible to me. I think I could be somebody who one day invests money wisely. Then this video is a success and I'm so glad I made it. I just want you to believe in yourself. I just want you to feel like you can let go of the idea that you're somebody who's bad at maths. It breaks my heart because I've told myself that for so many years and my body would literally go into a complete panic thinking about numbers. I actually specifically chose to do sociology at A level rather than psychology because I was told that psychology involved maths. That's how scared I was. So I really get you. But I'm not gonna reject maths like I once did because I acknowledge that we live in a world that is dominated by how much you make, numbers, money. It's crazy that money is not even really a tangible thing anymore these days. It's just a number in a bank account, but it really does dictate so much of our life. And ignoring that, I think, is just disempowering. Now, before I leave you, beautiful woman, I really want to reinforce to you that you do not have to work like a man. You bring immense value in your own unique ways, maybe through your creativity or your intuition or your sense of sisterhood. You've got so much to bring to the table in this world. And I really encourage you to work like whoever you are, a woman, not like a small man. I know there are so many resources out there that encourage women to be small men and to just fit in and to just be logic-minded and to do it the way that these guys have done it. But I really implore you to do it differently, to lean into your own unique strengths. That's what I've done with my YouTube channel, and I also have a program for women. If you want to connect with me, pop me an email. My email's in the description box. But yeah, that's what I've done. I've lent into my power and my strength, and I've done it in my own way, not in the way that a lot of men would have mansplained me to do it. I've done it intuitively, I've created intuitively, and I'm reaping the benefits of that. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm just going to read this out to you. According to investment banking company Morgan Stanley, workforces which include women at all levels correlate with those reporting better returns. On top of that, women are also playing an increasingly important role as customers. By 2028, it's estimated that female consumers will control around 15 trillion of global consumer spending. So basically, companies with women at all levels are performing better. We women can bring insight and value to business, to companies, to our friendships, to the world. We do not have to be men. We don't have to be small men. We can be women. Okay. thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed filming this one. I really felt in the flow of things. I hope you felt that.